Welcome to the Casual Boys podcast. I'm Francisco,
And I'm Brandon.
and we have a special guest today, Eugene. Say hi, Eugene.
Hi, world.
We're here to talk about movies, TV, current events, memes, and the internet, but keep it casual.
Yes, of course. We always keep it casual.
Eugene, do you think that you'd like to have a conversation about Star Wars?
I'm all eyes and ears.
A casual one.
A casual conversation, right? You're right. I should have
Yeah,
clarified.
I'm not gonna be one of those fans. I'm actually gonna be civil about it.
Okay, that's good to know. So our question, a big question, very heady for those who really like talking about Star Wars. Is who is the best character in Star Wars, right? So, would either of you like to go first?
I would defer to the guest.
We'll defer to the guest, and I'll go last. How
Alright,
about that?
so
How
I go
does that
first?
sound, Eugene?
You want me to just
Yes,
say
please.
it and then explain, or say and then wait for y'all
So
to?
you could just say it and then state your case, and then Brendan and I will judge whether or not your case is worthy.
All right. Well, so in regards to their best character in the entire Star Wars series,
The entire Star Wars.
it's definitely Han Solo.
And
It's
why do you
definitely Han
say
Solo.
that, Eugene?
Because I think he was the more earlier redeemable characters in that he was supposed to be this kind of scum of the galaxy that just, kills for money or not kills for money. He was a smuggler, right?
Yeah, he's a bumper.
Smuggler,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
some
in the
kind of
original version, let's all admit,
rogue.
Han shot first. Han shot first. And
Are you referring to the classic duel between him and Greedo?
yes, with him and Greedo. But anyways, he
Or
shot
whenever
first.
he impregnated Leia.
That's
I
arguable.
mean, he did technically shoot first.
But
That's
an-
true.
but
I think he's
anyways,
the only, I don't know.
he-
I
his
don't want to say
redeeming
he was the only one that shot.
his redeeming quality is that like he was only thinking of himself.
That,
And then,
that took you by surprise for a second, didn't you?
what?
That took you off guard for a second,
It
didn't
did.
you?
What
Yeah,
happened to
yeah,
the
keep
civil
it casual.
conversation?
It's casual, not civil.
Yeah, that did take me off guard. But anyways, the redeeming quality at the end, where you see him evolve from being thinking about himself but actually thinking about others towards the end of the movie, and then by Empire, his quote unquote death, well, his perilous event at the end, was kind of like the driving force to keep the series going. Are you wondering, is he alive? Is he dead? How are they going to save him? And he, even though the world didn't really want it, he's the only one that has their own spin-off movie. Even though it's arguably, good or bad, he's the only one that has a spin-off movie. And who
It is
doesn't want to be?
inarguably bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, it's arguable. But
I liked it.
yeah, who doesn't want to be Han Solo? He's got the look, he's got, the charisma, and he's got the Millennium Falcon. Who wouldn't want to be the captain of that ship? He's got a great companion in Chewbacca. He's got a great love interest in Leia.
You got a black best friend.
He's got a black best friend. He literally was arguably the key contributor in helping the first destruction of the Death Star, or the destruction of the first Death Star, excuse me.
That's true.
So yeah, I guess that's my spiel on Han Solo. And I'm sure
Okay,
there's
That's
more.
a
I
pretty
just
compelling case.
probably haven't gotten to it yet.
So now you have to go through me and Brandon's judgment. We're gonna inquisition your entire argument.
Ah,
Okay.
man.
I'm gonna ask
I
you
have to
one
defend this?
question that's gonna unravel everything you said,
Oh,
and Brandon will too. But since Brandon didn't know I was gonna do this, I'll ask first. Okay.
go for it.
So my question is, do you think that since Han didn't die at the end of Empire, that he kind of overstayed his welcome as a character, and that kind of takes away from his overall value as a character?
I think there's an argument that uh, it did do that, but I don't think it was a fault of his own. like Harrison Ford's. Well, yeah, I don't think it's a fault of his own per se. I think that
Well, we're just talking about the character, though.
um I think there would be some arguably how would I say this? Like there'd be some significance and more, I guess, depth if Han did die, or if he did, like, you know, his story ended after Empire. But it would also deprive us of seeing him in, Jedi. It would deprive us of seeing him, once again whenever they did the sequel trilogy in Force Awakens. It would deprive us. Yeah, it would deprive us of just seeing him again. But I do.
To
I-
be fair, I think depriving that sequel trilogy would have been in his favor.
It
Just
would,
saying.
like I said, yeah, it would have. But I mean,
Maybe
it was nice
character-wise,
to see
but not
him,
money-wise.
back on the screen. That nostalgic factor. But
Yeah.
I do see kind of that perspective in which if he were to die, it would be more of a lasting impact, and I think it would be much more significant to his overall character arc. So yeah, it could have been a, how would you say it, like overstay is welcome or something, or what have you.
Yeah, again, I love Han Solo. I just feel like that really does devalue his character a bit.
Yeah.
Brandon, do you have anything to inquisition him with?
So following the question of whether or not he should have died at the end of Empire, if he had did, what would that have done for the sequels? Considering that he is a major player in that, as he is the father of the villain.
True. But I
And
think
if he didn't have this kid, the galaxy would be at peace.
true.
That's very true.
That is true.
And this is where you shouldn't have fired first.
That's a good argument. That's a good argument to be made. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if he wasn't in the previous movies, or if he wasn't, if he was dead, we would not see kind of the foundation laid with Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren and that whole story. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a real good question. I'm kind of stumped on
Seems
that
like he kind of unraveled your whole argument here, Eugene.
one. Wait, oh, you still want me?
I mean, if you have anything to say, if not, we can move on to more worthy.
I mean, it would just deprive
candidates.
us of all the sequel trilogy. Let's just say that. It would
But
rid us
I
of
still
all the
love
pain.
Han. I still love
Han
though.
too. I still love Han.
I'm one
no
of the
matter
few
what.
people in the world that enjoyed Solo.
I
So you have nothing to say then, Eugene.
I'm indifferent about Solo.
Okay, you try.
Well, Solo's a prequel actually, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say you try running the Kessel Run in that amount of time.
That amount of distance.
I just really wonder how that film would have been had Lord and Miller stayed on. I just like that still baffles me. Like
Yeah, maybe Han Solo would have been a better character.
maybe.
That's okay.
But yeah,
All right,
I still
Brandon.
love Han. I still love Han.
We have our first contender, Han Solo, for the crown of best Star Wars character. Who do you nominate?
I nominate Jango Fett.
Ooh.
I nominate him because
Jango Fett?
specifically Jango, not Boba, Jango. And the reason I pick is because first off, his accent, is one of the best parts of that movie. Also, the fact that he is one of the better characters of that movie as well, Attack of the Clones.
Fire.
And given the fact that we have in that movie 200,000 units of another million on the way, he represents one of the better parts of the prequels, especially in the aspect of where they're going with the whole intergalactic conflict with everything, and the fact that he was the precursor to Boba Fett, and they gave him a little bit more of a backstory behind all of that. Some people weren't about it. I was cool with it. Also, the fact that he, once again, going back to the New Zealand accent, it gave more of a variety to the whole cast and universe of Star Wars. Plus, it's a cool accent. How can you not like that?
How could you not
And
like?
then, so we get.
Oh no, continue.
Huh?
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, continue.
And then like he comes in episode 3, and then like you're all budding it up with the clones, and then Execute Order 66 happens, and then you get the biggest heartache of all time.
Yeah.
But that's good writing in my opinion. And to be fair, I'll say this: Tamora Morrison didn't have a whole bunch to go off of when he was doing it, but what he was given, I thought he did a good enough job portraying Jango.
Would you say that you're saying specifically the Tamora Morrison Jango, or retroactively the also including the original voice actor for Boba?
Well, I'd say Tamora, because he's the one who kind of like gave more into the lore of the Fets.
Okay. So, Eugene, do you have something that you can inquisition, or would you like me to start?
You mentioned diversity. You can't bring up diversity without mentioning the Gungans.
Wait, what does that have to do?
We're gonna go there.
What does that have to do?
We're gonna go there. Yeah, because you were saying like, oh, it brought this sense of like diversity. I'm like, did you see Phantom Menace?
Hey,
even though it was
the
not.
Gungans have rights too. Okay,
They do.
Were it not for the Gungans, I was about to say we would have lost.
We would have lost.
We would have lost.
I don't know how this is in any way affects the argument of Jango Fett.
But diversity, if we're talking about like the human cast, then that's where I would put it into. But I do like the question of the Gungans.
If anything, it kind of took away some of the diversity from the Gungans and kind of thinned that out a little bit and made it a little more palatable.
I just heard like diversity, and I'm like, wait a minute, did you not mention the Gungans? I don't know. That was just
Brandon. Well, I have 2 inquisitions actually to make.
Okay.
So are you prepared?
Okay.
All right. So the first one is he's not even a Mandalorian.
Oh, so
as shown by his wrong medal is not, what is it? Uru medal? I don't even know.
Are you talking about his
Wait, no, that's Marvel. Wait, what's Beskar?
Beskar.
Beskar steel?
Yes.
It's not even Beskar steel. I mean, it looks like piecemeal. Or his doesn't look piecemeal, but then like it gets passed on to his son, and his son doesn't even keep most of it. He just keeps the helmet. So it's like, what do you have to say against that? That he's not even a Mandalorian.
Well, see that once the actual show The Mandalorian came out, Dave Filoni, who was the head director of the Clone Wars CGI series, even though in the show they state that, he never full on states that Jango isn't a Mandalorian. Is one of the things he disputed with George Lucas about that. So right now it's still kind of like iffy about the whole Mandalorian thing. The Beskar steel, alright, that's a fair enough argument. But the average Mandalorian warrior doesn't have 100% Beskar. They usually have some kind of synthetic metal that kind of works off from that. Now, we can, get into the nitty-gritties about this, but, if we're keeping it just primarily to why Jango is the best character in Star Wars, that's still my case for all that.
So you're saying that the metal and his lack of Mandalorianism doesn't take away from that.
Well, also, if you want to make the case as well about like the whole conflict between the Death Watch and the quote-unquote true Mandalorian conflict that happened, which is why Jango got initiated into the Mandalorian culture, even though Concord Dawn is technically a territory.
So he's a culture vulture, you're saying? He's the Drake of the Star Wars universe.
And so is Boba, what's Drake's son's name? Adonai?
No, not Adonai. Adonis, yeah. Okay, I do have another question to follow up because I felt like his lack of a Mandalorian wouldn't hold as much water. Okay, what do you say to that? Because he got cloned, 200,000 million more on the way. what do you say to that? The fact that those other ones were, bred basically to be super soldiers and like trained and taught and all these things. They were basically made to be like as to capitalize on his genetics as much as possible, right?
Right.
So what would you say to that? Jango is actually the worst possible Jango, the worst possible result of those genetics.
Well, during the clone training, they had to actually implement some neuro implants in order to like repress some of his more aggressive tendencies, as well as to train the different factions of the clone army. So like infantry, artillery, recon, and so Jango, like as the bounty hunter, he's not tied to certain training. He has a whole set of skills that he can do to.
He's just a hood rat by comparison.
But a refined hood rat.
A refined hood rat.
Refined hood rat.
I mean, I guess so. He's a culture vulture, refined hood rat.
The culture came to him, if anything. He got the culture. The culture.
So it was what he was wearing. Then you're telling me.
It was what they gave him to wear. Then you got into a whole argument right there.
Okay.
Instead of views from the Six, views from the Camino.
Eugene, do you have anything to argue?
So you're saying that these
the
clones
Jango-ness
are
of
just.
it all?
So you're saying these clones are just a perfected version of Jango.
I'm saying that the clones are all better than Jango. Brandon's saying that they're not because they're too specific.
Uh huh.
And I'm saying that they're better.
It depends on your version of better. Like,
True.
how we're going to go about this with better. Depends on what you're looking for.
I don't know. I'm still
hey, when push came to shove, Order 66 went through really easily. And that man couldn't even fight one Samuel L. Jackson. So...
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still.
But that whole thing, it was about like it was the biggest plot armor of all time.
I mean, true, but he
he flies and just automatically he got hit by that big beast and his jetpack got blown up, and then like we didn't get a proper fight between him and Samuel L. Jackson.
I mean, that could be another argument though, because his son also died like a bitch. So he's the one that raised him, right? The Kaminoans didn't have anything to do with that one. That was all him.
No, they did.
Well, not as much to do though. Not as much as the other ones. I think we pretty much established that I'm gonna totally win this with my nominee for best character of Star Wars of all time. Are you ready, Brandon?
I guess so.
Are you ready, Eugene?
Ready?
I'll say this. So whenever I thought of the question, whenever I thought of this topic, it took me no seconds to realize what my answer would be. And I know that y'all are quaking your boots because you realize that you are doomed. Of course, General Grievous, the most important, best character of all of the Star Wars.
I was actually going to pick Grievous.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have picked Grievous? Grievous is the best one. Okay, so here's my points, right? He's got lightsaber collection, right? Or lightsaber collection. He's not a Jedi. He shouldn't have those. So he had to defeat multiple Jedi just to get those, right? So that's already, a couple notch on his headboard, right? He's got the goods. He's got the proof that he can ball, right? Also, he's like a 10 feet tall robot, half robot lizard man. Like, who would not want to be a half lizard cyborg? Like, I'm sure if he wanted, he could have an arm cannon that shot pie, right? I'm sure if he wanted, he could do all those things. Because one, it's Star Wars, so nothing makes sense, and two, he's a giant cyborg. Okay. And my third and most important point: the only reason he died is because, going back to Eugene's argument, going back to your argument of the plot armor, is because of the plot armor. Okay. The only reason he died is because, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got to be the best Jedi ever. He's got to be better than Yoda. So we got to give him the best victory, and that's by defeating General Grievous. And by defeating General Grievous, Obi-Wan became better than Yoda.
Okay.
So that's my argument, and there's nothing that you can inquisite out of that because it's the best argument of all time.
Before, like, I'm gonna let Eugene go first with his Inquisition. Before
How?
we start, that whole plot armor thing. To be fair, Obi-Wan literally ripped the plot armor off of Grievous when he ripped off that chest plate.
Yeah, he had to. He couldn't do it with his bare hands.
He did do it with his bare hands.
He did it with a ooh 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 thing.
No, he did it with his bare hands. He literally like.
Oh, he ripped it with his bare hands, but he.
It's like, you know, dreams, and then Grievous
But he had to.
starts speaking like.
He had to get there, though, bro. He had to get there.
Anyways, do you want to go first, Eugene?
How do you know he obtained those lightsabers by defeating Jedi? Because we just see him take the two lightsabers from Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Have you ever seen any other non-Jedi, non-Sith characters have?
He could have just had his
lightsabers?
goons take it, and like the goons could have
in
taken
the
care
in the
of him.
series,
In the series here?
in the mainline Star Wars series,
Legends?
in the mainline canon.
And are we including outside of the movies as well?
No,
Oh yeah, mind you, I'm not.
unless you're including good things about Grievous.
I'm not. I haven't seen any of the animated series or any of the
Well, there you go.
non-film Star Wars tales, but yeah. So I mean, I'm just going based off the movies.
I mean, right now I feel like I'm sitting pretty pretty with this nomination. I think.
Well, I mean, okay, here's what. Who did he defeat on screen then?
Yeah,
He
who did he defeat
defeated-
to get these lightsabers?
He defeated.
He probably
Well,
defeated
those are
like,
two different
like
questions.
Padawans that like probably misplaced these lightsabers while they were, training or whatnot, or I don't
mean,
know.
hey, that's how Darth Vader rose to power, so I'm fine with that. Okay, because Darth Vader is one of the more important characters too. So you jot that down. You jot that down. Oh, also, even if he did kill like 2 or 3 Padawans for those lightsabers, that's still like 12 less than Darth Vader did. So another notch on General Grievous's
We're
belt.
also making the assumptions about these two things, though.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be that he didn't kill any
But we
Padawans at
also,
all.
Like, on the security holograms,
I think. Wait, who?
Anakin.
No, Anakin. Yeah, but Grievous didn't kill. For all we know, he didn't kill any Padawans at all. So he's a good guy.
This is the scenario of like we're refuting him, like we're just taking him for his word about him adding to his collection.
Yeah, I mean he's got them right, and like yeah, sure he's a general, so maybe he bought some of those, but like hey, he had to get them somehow, right? What was your question again, Brandon?
Well, who did he defeat on screen?
Oh, he
That makes him,
defeated.
like, such a great-
I think he defeated our perception of what a villain really is. I think we went in thinking, oh, a villain is just this guy that doesn't talk, and then he gets cut in half at the end, right? But when Grievous came in, he here comes Grievous, a clearly a disabled man, a handicapped man, rose to the ranks of general.
Who
right?
probably has the
Rose to the ranks
coronavirus.
of general, despite he clearly needs a little hang tag for his handicapped. For his little, when he parks at Walmart, he can only walk so many
Big
feet.
wheel bike.
Yeah, when he parks, that's another thing. Oh, he's got an awesome wheel bike. It's okay. We won't even count that in, right?
I got destroyed by Obi-Wan because he poked the stick.
Yeah, but this man, well, that's just a defect. That's a defect of the design. You could do that. You could do that to any car. Okay.
Lizard was able to run as fast as that.
Well, the bird lizard, it had the heart of a champion. So, I mean, don't take this out on the bird lizard. If anything, you're adding to my argument here.
No.
You're adding to my argument. I mean,
Complete opposite.
everything you're doing is just making General Grievous seem more important. But anyways, General Grievous, he was just, he could barely walk around without, coughing, hawking up a loogie, right? He's a Purple Heart recipient for sure. You know that.
No, we
Right.
do not know.
You know
We
that
do not.
he's got a bunch of cyborg parts. He had to lose that somehow.
He received the Purple Heart. He went against the Republic.
Well, he's got the Sith Purple Heart. And then the best part is that he's a man of the people, right? And by people, I mean the droid army.
He hated the droids.
because he looks kind of like one.
He hated people on the droid.
He looks kind of like one, so that they would respect him. He took on their, he became them. He became one of them. And I'm not gonna make any comparisons here that you might be thinking, but I know y'all are all thinking what the comparison I'm talking about.
No, this is not. This is not it. What are you talking about?
I'm saying that my man was 100% lizard and 100% droid.
No, he's not.
My man, he saved
He
the
like
droids.
90% robot and 2% lizard.
I mean, either way, he's an inspiration.
So, okay, before we continue, if he's an inspiration, would you want to be in a chassis like him?
I mean, if I got a Purple Heart, if I was
You don't
a
know
war
that.
veteran, a veteran of many space wars, which we don't even know, bro. Like here we are, after 2 world wars, right? World wars. Imagine space wars, man. Imagine wars between worlds. This man, he's the champion of it. And he's got a Purple Heart to show for it. Okay, so clearly those Inquisitions didn't work. So we have our ruling phase, right? So now we're all going to vote to see who was the best character.
It seems like a very
See?
undemocratic way
To see who's the best character. But
Like, can we have the Senate in here or
the
something?
catch, I am the Senate. The catch of this being that you have to vote for a character other than yours. Okay?
It has to be the
So
other two.
on a count of 3,
Of
has
the-
to be one of the other 2, yeah.
Okay, of the other two.
So on a count of 3, we're all going to say which one we pick. And then we're going to sort it out later because we won't be able to hear all of each other at the same time. And then we're gonna see that Grievous is the one that wins. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Han
Jango.
Solo.
Grievous.
What?
Wait, what? You said Jango?
Yeah, you said to pick one of
Okay.
the...
So clearly,
This one, like, we all just exchange characters.
yeah. So
This is why
clearly,
this is gonna happen.
Brandon was swayed by me. I was swayed
the
by.
collection, not
I was
by
swayed by
you. I was
Eugene.
swayed by the collection.
Oh,
Purple
okay.
Heart, man. And then Eugene was swayed by
By-
Brandon.
He was swayed by
Yeah.
So
Jango's
I guess this wasn't as elegant as a resolution tool as I'd hoped, but I would say that like all Star Wars debates, there was never a true answer to
There's
this
no true
question
answer.
other than General Grievous.
Purple
Yeah,
Heart recipient.
Is there anything now that we're not inquisiting each other? Is there anything that you really like about the new character that you picked that wasn't mentioned before?
A new character?
The new character that you the
Oh.
character you voted for.
Is there an aspect that we like really like that we didn't get to talk about because we're too busy bassing each other?
I mean, Jango got his own video game, right?
Yeah, Star Wars Bounty Hunter on the GameCube, and other platforms. But I played on the GameCube. To be fair, like Tamara Morrison comes back for a bunch of the media. He came back for that. He came back for Republic Commando. A bunch of
didn't
the
know that.
Battlefront games. Yeah,
That's pretty
He
awesome.
was there doing the voice for that. Yeah, he loves the role. For General Grievous, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of unfair though, because like I've always loved General Grievous. Like even after watching Revenge of the Sith, even when I was in 4th grade and kind of thinking he could have. I don't know about that fight. I still enjoyed him. I still love his design. And also his Russian accent. For whatever reason, I love the fact that he has a Russian accent. And I know we weren't like going too far into the other media, but for some other reason, like he doesn't have as much of his accent in the Clone Wars TV show or in Battlefront 2, the new one. Like they don't really give him the accent, but
Is it the same voice actor?
it's the same voice actor.
Oh, interesting.
Same sound engineer for that too.
Well, then I'm glad we didn't count those.
But in Revenge of the Sith, he's got the accent.
Mm-hmm.
Like where else are you gonna be like General Kenobi? Plus, like the man is a great meme.
You are a bold one. I'm pretty sure of all the characters in Star Wars, I know the most General Grievous quotes. I'm pretty sure. Because there's that one. There's him just generally coughing. That's it. But I know there's more, and I can't remember them right now. But I saw this one. There was this one. It's this Rooster Teeth show, and there was these two people. It was like a game show, and there was these two people that their team name was after General Grievous, and they had a little bowl with little General Grievous quotes in it, and every time someone would ask them a question, they would just pull out a piece of paper from the bowl and just read the General Grievous line.
What?
Yeah, I'll send it to y'all later. But yeah,
I'm
it was.
surprised there was enough dialogue for him to have
Yeah.
to last them.
Yeah, there was a surprising amount of paper in the bowl.
Was
So-
was it based just on film, or was also like film and like TV series?
No, it was just episode 3. That's
Wow, he had that's a
So-
lot of dialogue.
it. Yeah.
I didn't think he had that many lines.
A lot of meaningful dialogue too, I would say.
Yes.
He's like the good version of Mr. Freeze from
From Batman.
Joe
and Robin.
Schumacher's movie, yeah, Batman and Robin. Because everything he says. First of all, he's got a weird Eastern European accent. Boom. He's giant. He's a giant strong man.
Mhm.
Boom. And he has everything he says is like either kind of a pun or just like a very cartoon like thing to say. Not pun, but like whenever he's like, "You fool, I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku," and then he just starts spinning the lightsabers. And I'm just like, man, this dude is freaking dexterous, bro. How is he spinning those things so fast?
And then he loses 2 hands.
And then you see Count Dooku actually fight, and he's just like moving like at a mile an hour. Like, what is
Exactly.
this man even doing?
What about for Han? Since you picked Han.
I picked Han. My man Han. What can I say about my man Han? I love Harrison Ford, so it's probably an unfair choice, I guess, for me. But Han, I guess my biggest problem with him is that, like, which is a weird criticism, but it's like just the amount of people that he just like shoots. Because it's like, yeah, I know that he like lived a rough life or whatever, but I don't know, something about, I think I do fall into like that like the lightsaber is a more elegant weapon than a gun. Just because it's harder. I think it's harder to kill someone if you have a lightsaber than if you have a gun, right? Also, Han Solo, he's a best friend who's an elderly man, right? He's like 200 years old. And what he is, it's this 200-year-old gorilla.
You're actually right.
And he speaks a foreign language to him, and he's not like, hey, you should speak English, right? You should speak American.
He
He's not
respects
like
his
that
language.
at all. Yeah, he's like, you speak, I understand you. I'm gonna reply to my own, cause like equality. But I respect you, and I respect what you're about, Chewbacca. So, I think that Han Solo is. I think he's kind of like the most fish out of water, I'd say. Like he belongs the most to the world of Star Wars, I think. But he's also like within the context of like the story of like good versus evil and all this stuff. He's the most out of place, and I think he like you said, he definitely makes his own. He like makes his own way, and definitely feels inseparable from the story, but especially by the end of it.
Yeah, that's definitely really good points that you made with that. Yeah.
Maybe I should have been the one that was arguing.
Yeah, you should have.
But
You
even
came up
then-
with more complex arguments than I did. I didn't
Even
think so.
then, I still would pick Grievous.
I didn't think so thoroughly on the Han Solo part.
So, we have a little bit of time here. So I just wanted to ask y'all, is there a specific lightsaber color that you would go for, and why?
A specific what?
Lightsaber color.
Lightsaber color?
Oh, lightsaber color.
And it doesn't have to do with. It doesn't have to entirely do with like like
Mythos of everything.
this is the purple lightsaber is because they kind of dabbled in the Sith or whatever. It doesn't have to be. It could be aesthetic. That can be part of it though.
Okay.
Would any of y'all like to start, or you want me to start?
I can start.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have to go with red. I've always just grown up loving that red lightsaber. You know, even though it was the symbol of the Sith and evil, it looks cool. It just looks so cool. And then going from the original trilogy, and they go into Phantom Menace, and then we have a double-sided red lightsaber, just mind blown. And so it's stuck with me. It's such a great classic color for that. You know what you're getting into when you see a red lightsaber, and so that's always just been a special place in my dark little heart.
The red lightsaber. So would you want that like surgical like Darth Maul beam, or would you want that like spazzy Kylo Ren beam?
The incomplete one.
Yeah.
I probably would just go classic, like go with the Darth Vader one. So I thought about maybe doing like the elegant kind, like how Count Dooku has with the curved lightsaber.
Oh yeah, where it's like a cane.
Yeah, the little fencing thing, but like I couldn't wield that like that, and I'm not athletic enough to wield a double-sided lightsaber like how Darth Maul does. So he's just flipping and jumping and like.
Wasn't he Doug Jones?
Who the actor?
Yeah.
Ray Park.
Oh, Ray Park. Excuse me. I don't know where I got
Who's
Doug
Jones?
Jones.
Who's
I don't know
Doug
where I
Jones?
got Doug Jones.
Doug Jones is from Hellboy. He was the one who played Abe Sapien.
Oh wow. Wait, which one was Abe Sapien?
He was the fish guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
The
is
good
his
Hellboy
name
movies.
that? Oh yeah, the good ones.
The good ones. The
Yeah,
Del Toro
I
versions.
didn't even realize the other one was out.
Oh yeah.
Like the bad one, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I just kept like hearing that it was coming, and then it just came out, and it was just like,
and I totally missed it.
was it this year or last year? Or when was
It
that?
was last year. Last April.
Oh, okay.
I want to say.
Yeah, but
Last April?
Yeah.
A year
last year.
ago?
Last year. Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. I fell asleep during the movie. That's how bad it was.
In the theater?
Wow.
Yes.
For
Oh, wow.
Eugene to say that.
Yeah. Anytime
Oh,
I fall
Eugene,
asleep
who
during a
watches-
movie, you know that's bad.
Yeah, you watch the most movies out of all of us. That's crazy. When's the last time you went to the movies?
I went to watch Onward, probably the week before they started initiating all these coronavirus shutdowns.
Onward, how is that?
It was good. I liked it. It's not the like top tier Pixar films, but it's not Cars 2. It's like it's in a good place in the middle.
Okay.
I think I was too young when I saw Cars 2 because I still have a fond memory of that movie.
I fell
I
asleep during
remember
Cars 2 as well.
1.
You're older than me.
I didn't. What
Huh?
happened to Planes 3, guys? What happened to Planes 3? I'm still waiting for that.
They got grounded.
That's true. They're asking for the bailout.
They're rebooting. It's Blimps.
Yeah. It's a what's it called? The Hindenburg.
Oh God.
Mr. Hindenburg, you're so big.
How
Yup.
that movie's gonna end.
Gosh. They should have.
Oh, the humanity.
I wonder if there was. Did you either of y'all watch Planes?
No.
No.
I'm gonna start theorizing about Planes because
You might be the only person I know in my
Yeah.
life who's asked me have I seen Planes.
I've never seen it though. Is the thing. So
There's two.
I
I,
mean,
didn't even.
The trailer.
If you haven't seen it, then you can't argue, right?
I didn't
But
even know
wouldn't
there
it
was
be a-
two of them.
I think therefore I am.
I'm pretty sure there is two.
Yeah, he's
I'm
right.
like,
Yeah, you're
what?
both right.
But
Is it
yeah,
like-
I think the thing about. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, isn't it like there's like one, there's planes, and then there's the other that's like fire and rescue or something like that?
I have no idea. But that sounds like a TV show. I don't know. Anyways, what I was gonna say is, if there was a plane called Amelia, right, that it disappeared, and then it came back as like a Japanese ship,
What the hell?
wouldn't that be an amazing movie?
I would actually invest in
It'd
something
be-
like that. Yes.
I think there was like a rogue report or something that somebody found that was like, oh yeah, these bunch of people say they found Amelia Earhart in like a Japanese like fishing village or something. But
Okay, so you guys are both right. So there was a second Planes movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Fire and Rescue.
Okay.
Ah.
So they fired at Amelia Earhart, and then
And
the
they rescued-
Japanese fishing village rescued her. All right. Well, I think we pretty much established the grievous nature of today's topic. Is there anything else you guys wanted to a final, just like a final thought about how you feel about Star Wars going forward?
There will always be Star Wars, no matter how
Will
good or
always
bad.
be- do you like the idea of that, or do you dislike it?
I'm optimistic about it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna immediately
Eugene's
shut it down.
optimistic about a perpetual Star Wars future. What about you, Brennan?
I'd say I am too. Even as somebody who's enjoyed the sequel trilogy, I understand the backlash it's gotten. But what came out from Disney Plus with the Mandalorian and their final season for the Clone Wars, I think it's really sparked a love for Star Wars, kind of going back to the roots of things, so to say. And so I'm excited too about what's going to come for the future.
So I'm also looking forward to the future. I'm waiting for the series The Kalish, which has starring my boy General Grievous, so we can find out all about him, and maybe
That's good. You knew his species name.
yeah, I looked it up right now while you were talking. So we're gonna have The Kalish hopefully coming soon once this Corona thing is over, and I'd say overall though today's conversation was pretty casual. What do you think, Brandon?
Yep.
What do you think, Eugene?
I enjoyed it.
Casual for you?
Huh?
Wait,
what?
Was it
No,
casual for you?
No, not too casual. No, I mean, the random comments that came out of nowhere like got me sometimes, but overall it was nice.
Okay. Maybe we need to work on being more casual with Eugene.
No,
Until
it's
next
fine.
Time.
I don't know what to expect when I walk into things like this. But now I know. So now
Until next time.
now I'm at ease.
It's been a casual conversation with the casual boys. God bless.
See you.